It's another Saturday when we bring you your favorite security and safety weekly tonic, Security Watch Africa, and only on this channel, the Africa Independent Television. Welcome to your program. Today, my name still remains Patrick Abambu. Today, we'll be looking at a number of issues, but particularly, we'll be reviewing the state of Nigeria's national security pending in the last 2 weeks. How has it been? Is there anything to be sustained, or are we getting it wrong? We'll be looking at that with my guest that is in the studio. But first, I need to talk about this that is disturbing. During the week, precisely 2 days ago, the police in Lagos State arrested 2 Nigerians who are impersonating the Nigerian army. You can see the way they are turned out, well dressed. So at least to a layman, ordinarily, these ones look so much like the average soldier we see on our streets or in our barracks. But these are no soldiers. These are no military officers. These are impostors who decided to harass and intimidate their fellow citizens. You can see some of their countrymen, or the military countrymen that are in their possession. And really, these are the people that most times create problem for the society, and it's not good to have them in our midst. And they live among us. We see them; they don't report to any office, and they dress with military uniform and they move around, and we indulge it, we encourage it. We should be bold enough to expose these criminals, because the damages they do is worse than any other ordinary criminal, and we must correct it properly. Yes, also it doesn't even stop there. We saw in Nasarawa also yesterday, where the Nasarawa police commander was arrested, another impostor. All over the country we have them, and I believe that as we put in develop more security awareness and consciousness among us, we will be able to take out of our midst these criminals. Yes, let's go to what happened in the last 2 weeks. What the Armed Forces of Nigeria troops did in the last 2 weeks. Just 2 days ago, again, they had their bi-weekly media briefing, where the Director of Media Operations, Major General Dam Madami, briefed Nigerians on how far in the last 2 weeks. Sit back as we bring you this report put together by Elizabeth Tanko.
Following the sustained onslaught by the troops of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, which has neutralized many Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists and made their remnants scamper for safety, many of their fighters, family members and adopted victims have continued to surrender to the Nigerian troops. In the last weeks, a total number of 1,652 of these, comprising of 320 adult males, 442 adult females, and 890 children, surrendered to the troops of the Nigerian military in the northeast. These figures was disclosed by the newly appointed Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Damadami, at the bi-weekly media briefings. General Damadami spoke further on the remarkable achievements recorded by the troops of various theaters of operations, consisting of Operation Hiding Kai, Operation Wild Punch, Operation Safe Haven, Operation Wild Stroke, Operation Hadarindaji, Operation Delta Save, Operation Octopus Grip, Operation Dakata the Barao, and Operation Swift Response.
The air component of Operation Hadarin Kai on 20th August 2022 carried out strikes on terrorist enclave in Sambisa Forest and the Tumbus in Borno with various degrees of success recorded. Acting on credible intelligence about the gathering of terrorists on a location revealed to be the enclave of a notorious terrorist being hosted by a top-ranking commander believed to be the Islamic State of West African Province leader of Sambisa Forest, who took over the leadership after the demise of Abubakar Shekau. Consequently, the airstrike was carried out on the enclave. Feedback revealed that 25 of the terrorists were neutralized in the strike, with 18 having been seriously wounded.
The director revealed that Troops have denied thieves access to oil products worth a total of 3,780,259,338 naira only in the past 2 weeks.
The total value of products denied oil theft for the period under review are 1,313,020,242,000 naira only for crude oil alone, while 2,347,607,471 naira only for AGO, and the sum of 4,650,625 naira for PMS, and the sum of 15,981,000 naira for dual-purpose kerosene. Consequently, a grand total of 3,708,259,308 naira was denied for the oil thieves for the period under review.
The Military High Command has continued to commend the efforts of the troops in the various theaters of operation across the country, and also expressed appreciation to the public and the media community for their cooperation and support in the quest to return peace to our dear country.
I wish to convey the Military Higher Command commendation on the effort of troops in the various theaters of operation across the country. The media community is also acknowledged for their partnership and continued cooperation with the military and other security agencies in our quest to return peace to our dear nation. Also, the entire populace is hereby appreciated for their support given to the armed forces and security agencies in the conduct of their operations, while also urging them to continue to provide credible information regarding the enemies of the state of our nation in their various localities.
Elizabeth Thanko, reporting for Security Watch Africa, Abuja.
Yeah, welcome back from the military program to another report put together by Shirley Daniels, where we met a man, Solomon Ekpere, who spent almost a month in Baga in the northeast. Sit back as we bring you this report.
The efforts of the Nigerian army, especially in the northeastern part of the country, undoubtedly cannot be neglected. Despite the security crisis, the Nigerian army continued to mount pressure on the terrorists, making it difficult for these enemies of the nation to gain more ground. During Security Watch Africa's visit to the northeast, we sought to find out how life is in the far northern part of Borno State, Baga, which is in the Lake Chad and was hitherto dominated by the terrorist elements. We met with a businessman who is into drainage activities, Solomon Ekpere, who spent 60 days in Baga.
We spent about 60-something days, close to 60 days in that place. For that almost 60 days we spent there, I can assure you that the period that we close our eyes to sleep is less, if we are to add it up, is less than 5 days. And I was telling a friend, I told him, I said, any soldier that leaves that place, Nigeria needs to take them to rehab to balance their brain. Because I myself, I know what I'm facing. As I speak to you, at times 5-6 days, I don't close my eyes because at a time I get used to the system. So, but in all, I really appreciate God for protecting us throughout the period of the dredging operations. I challenge Nigerian journalists that they are under, how would I put it, under reporting the successes the Nigerian army has achieved for this period of time.
Mr. Okperi spoke on the strategic importance of his assignment and the Lake Chad.
Before we got there, they have challenges because the place is so shallow to an extent that they could not make use of their gunboats. But today, the area we have covered, they can use the gunboats, even the big ones, they can use it effectively. And you know, when you are chasing enemy, you need such, because the enemy is there. The so-called Boko Haram, now you and I know, and ISWAP and the rest. What the boats they are using there, if at all they have any, they are not as big as those ones. And when they have those equipment there, but they were like, before now, they were like useless. They were just lying there fallow. But today I can assure you that those boats are moving freely. And it opened, they now have access to get to Chad easily.
For a man who is from the Niger Delta and familiar with fishery, he couldn't miss out but notice the enormous fishing potentials of the area.
I'm from Niger Delta. I have seen fish, but when I got there, I was amazed what I saw there. At least I was able to see, I don't know the English name of that particular fish, but in my place, they respect that fish very well. In my place, they call it eba. The one I still have it in my carton now. The one I bought is bigger than me. To be honest with you, it's bigger than me. But I bought it at a very cheaper rate, 3,500. So I was so confused to understand that I have to pay the man 5,000 naira. And I said, take. Sir, if only, which I know very soon, I know it will be a thing of the past. If Nigerians can visit that place to get those are into business of fish and all that, you see cartons of fish at the rate of 40,000, 45,000. But because of the insecurity, people choose not to go to that place.
Going from the personal experience of Mr. Solomon Okperi, Nigerians and the government need to continue to support the troops in the fight against insurgency and terrorism, as much is to be gained from every path of the nation. Shirley Daniels reporting for Security Watch Africa.
Welcome back. It was quite an experience, really. So much was experienced on that trip, and there's so much Mr. Okperi told us from his own personal experience. And like I always say, Security Watch Africa, we're ready to bring that news to you wherever it is. And my personal experience with Baga and all those areas is that so much potential, economic potential that is lying waste over there. I hope we'll get these things done with so that Nigeria can get back to its feet again, agriculture-wise. We can feed the whole world from the fishing in there in Baga. And that is what the terrorists are gaining and using to finance their operations over there. Yes, let's come to the discussion segment of this program. Yes, with me already in the studio is Chimeziem Anyadike. He's a political affairs analyst. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, really. Now, let's look at the last 2 weeks, really. Even if you want to follow the reports in the media and the so-called grapevines and all that, what would you say in terms of security in Nigeria in the last 2 weeks?
Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick, for the opportunity once again. Honestly, I would want to admit, and I would want every Nigerian to admit that there has been relative ease and calm all over the nation within the past 2 weeks, and despite the fact that there have been some very little and minute pockets of challenges here and there, but generally we've not been receiving reports of the violence that we were always inundated with back some 3 weeks prior. And I think if every Nigerian would be honest with themselves, we would agree that there's been a very huge improvement in the, in security and peace generally all over the nations. We've not been hearing about the activities of bandits. The activities of the secessionists in the southeast is practically no longer talked about. And then in the northeast, I mean, it's like we need to search and look for news right now about insecurity in all these places, that things that were not happening before, because it was always in our faces then, But I really want to commend the Commander-in-Chief and then the Nigerian Armed Forces for the sustained efforts in ensuring that the integrity, the security and territorial integrity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is sustained and maintained.
Yeah, and I also want to point out what really, how can you say, because it seems that also the police have also upped their game in terms of handling some of those critical issues that will have degenerated to more skirmishes.
Yes. I would also admit that there's been a lot of professionalism demonstrated by the Nigerian police, and it's quite impressive, especially with fishing out some of the bad eggs. The activities of the past 2 weeks has sent a message throughout the force, and it's like everybody, they are now on their toes and doing what they are supposed to do. It's really, really been very, very encouraging, and the reports that have been coming in, arrests here, raids there, and there was one within the week in Abuja that
was done by the Force Public Relations
Officer. Yes, it's been very, very impressive, and their efforts have really made us realize that if not for some of the things that they've started doing, we probably did not know the state of insecurity. It's like practically everybody wants to destroy Nigeria, but I commend their efforts, and it's been very impressive, and I pray that they sustain and improve this beautiful level of professionalism.
Yeah, because that is where I was going to come now, you see, because sustainability is the key word here, yes. Because what the level we are now, we're experiencing, we hope they can stop. How do you think this can be sustained so that we don't go back to those dark days again?
Well, one of the challenges about our security forces that we've had several conversations on is about their reactiveness. Yeah. And I think within the past 2 weeks, they've chosen to demonstrate the fact that they are not reactive institutions, they are proactive institutions. Sustainability, to me, is not a very difficult thing. It's all about consistency. It's about dedication to duty and responsibility. If it is instilled, if they properly imbibe some of these qualities, I mean, it's not going to be something to keep reminding them about, because when you look at the fact that for the past 2 weeks, like, wow, these guys are really doing a lot of work, conducting raids, fishing out, arresting, hitherto unknown criminals and everything. And you ask yourself, who got them to become, this professional and everything? It's all about dedication and, commitment to their responsibility. And I believe that if the structure is sustained, whatever structure that has been implemented, if it is focused on and sustained, I mean, sustainability would not be something they would have to keep, that Nigerians would have to keep worrying about.
So, some would say that this, could I say, some good news we are hearing now is coinciding with the meeting, the last National Security Council meeting the President, the Commander-in-Chief had with the service chiefs, where he gave them the marching order to take the fight to the camp of these criminals. Do you think that has anything to do with it?
Absolutely, absolutely. He is the Commander-in-Chief. It's his responsibility. So if at that meeting he gave them marching orders, it is his responsibility and his prerogative to give the marching orders. So whether he did or he did not, but I want to believe that he did, and they got the message, because there was a flurry of activities within our security infrastructure. Commanders were redeployed, theater commanders were changed, redeployed. There was a lot of reorganization in most of the theaters of operations. So I want to believe that he read the Riot Act, and he made it known to them that the security of this nation lies in your hands and all that. So I want to believe that he did so. But if he did not, whatever it is that he did, we can see the beautiful effects that it has had, and it is still having.
Okay, if he did, and this is the result we are seeing, many Nigerians will say, why did it took him this long? Why did he have to allow Nigerians to die first before he did this?
Well, I would not want to know why. I don't know why it took so long. But I remember a media chat he had with I can't remember the media outfit then some years ago, and a question like this was posed to him as to why he did not want to change the service chiefs, and he said something very instructive, that the military is his where he comes from, is his background, so that within the structure there could be some sort of ambition among the and all that, so that it is not a thing of just sacking and all that. No, that you have to be very strategic and make sure that it is the right people that you put there. So I want to believe that based on yes, he has been very strategic, based on the security reports that he has gotten. And let's not forget that this our commander-in-chief is also a war hero. Yeah. So he understands combat, he understands theater of conflict and everything. So I believe that the fact that he took his time was just because he needed to be strategic, and by the time he would launch his, would I call it operations and everything, there would be tangible results, and we can see that's what he has done. There have been,
and again, as the commander-in-chief, he gets a more vast intelligence reports or situation reports from.
And I think that's what Nigerians don't want to accept, that he goes through intelligence reports, security reports on daily basis, because this is his background. He has a 3D understanding, if I should say that, of what is obtainable, whether there is conflict or not. He knows what is obtainable. So I think Nigerians should get to the point of giving him credit that he has the understanding and knowledge of deploying strategic operations to sustain the security of Nigeria.
Okay, now about 2 weeks ago, again, there was something that some people, particularly some of us who are in the security sector, would say was a national breach when the national grid electricity was switched off and the whole nation was put in total darkness. Really, that, I must say, is a serious security breach. Tell me, why should that happen? How should that have happened in the first instance? How can it be prevented?
Right. I think I read the letter that was issued to the TCN, to the Nigerian Union of Electricity Workers, as to what they were supposed to do. I didn't follow through completely, but I read in that letter that they were supposed to gather, converge, and picket the offices of the TCN. So how that now translated to switching off the national grid is what I'm still trying to wrap my mind around. Whether they turned it off and then went to picket, because we know what picketing means now. Yeah. Just gather there, that's all, state your demands. So how it translated to switching off the entire country is what I still don't understand, and I believe that the security forces are not supposed to take it lightly, because an essential service and an essential infrastructure like security that should be protected by any means possible being sabotaged by Nigerians is something I don't think the commander-in-chief and then the national security advisor should take lightly. They should invest. They should find out who went to turn off whatever. I don't know how it works, if it's just a flipping of a switch off.
There was a video of switching off.
I don't know if it's verified. That's the thing. So that's why I'm trying to be very, very careful. But if it's verified, then I know that that person, whoever did that thing, should be treated as a terrorist, because that's what it is. That's terrorism. Throwing the entire country.
How can we prevent such? They have grievances, that their welfare and all that. How can we prevent such from happening again?
Well, I for one think that what the federal government can do is to look at the laws establishing the TCN and everything, the entire electricity and power energy laws, and find out and try to make sure that these essential services they should permit me to say this, are removed from unionism.
Unionism, yeah.
I think that, in my own opinion, that's how to forestall this. And then make sure that a structure of adequate remunerations and welfare is instituted for them. Because, I mean, the Nigerian army does not have union
exactly.
and all that.
The armed forces and the police.
There is nothing like unionism. And security is an essential service. Electricity should also be treated as such. So I think the federal government should look at that. They should look at the laws, examine the laws, and know where to tweak and get the National Assembly to start the amendments where necessary.
Yeah, because really looking at it, it's a big challenge, it's a big problem.
It was a huge issue.
And it's part of the things we say, even when you allow those in medical profession to go on strike, they offer essential services. That's why during any activities or curfew or whatever, you allow them to move because these essential services, you don't stop them. Even media is regarded as essential service because people need to be informed.
Definitely.
Really, but in Nigeria, it seems everything goes and there's no consequences for action.
I think we'll get it right. We are still in the formative processes. So as these things happen, we'll begin to look at possible consequences for some of these misdemeanors and then institute them properly.
All right. We hope that Nigeria will come to that point where there will be consequences for actions that are not supposed to be taken. Those who took such actions should be punished as a way of preventing others from doing same. Yes, it's a pleasure having you on the program once again. We hope to have you again soon to look at what is happening. We hope that this will be sustained like you advocated, the peace in the country. So. Yeah, talking about peace, I want to announce that the World Institute for Peace will be organizing a World Peace Symposium in Lagos, and precisely to be for tomorrow, which is the 28th of August 2022 in Lagos, precisely at the Golden Tulip Essential Hotels in Lagos. And the speaker will be the former Chief of Army Staff, Ambassador Tukur Yusuf Buratai. He will be speaking on the world peace, and a lot of the activities will be taking place at that event where issues of peace, because we need peace if we must develop, and that is very, very essential. The team, like you see there, is building up internal security setups and community protection in Nigeria, notions, styles, possibilities, and master plan. It's essential for everybody who is interested in peace and security to be there tomorrow. Until we come away again next week, I say thanks for staying tuned and bye for now.